Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's video, I'll break down how I created this clean and minimalistic SaaS promo style motion graphic using Adobe After Effects. We will go step by step through the design approach, animation techniques, and small details that makes this style look modern and professional. Whether you are a beginner or already familiar with After Effects, you will be able to follow along and recreate this animation easily inside of Adobe After Effects. So without any further ado, let's get started. So we are here in Adobe After Effects. Let's double click to open this main precomp. You will get the main precomp like this when you download the project file from the description down below. So you can see all the layers down here. So don't be confused. I will break down each layer step by step. So let's firstly break down this tutorial into two scenes. So first I will explain the scene 1 animation and its layers, and then I will explain the scene 2 and its animation. Okay, so firstly let's turn off all the layers for your ease, and now let's quickly turn on our first layer, which is a background layer. So just go to layer, go to new, and just click on the solid layer, and you will get the basic solid settings, and just click on the solid and name it as BG, and just choose the color as a white color, hit OK and hit OK again. Okay, now on this background layer I have applied an effect called noise effect for the cool sharpening effect type. So for the noise effect, just set the amount of noise to around 3% and just uncheck the noise type of use color noise. Make sure it's unchecked. Okay, now let's quickly turn on our next layer, which is a basically second precomp named as ellipse precomp. So basically let's double click to open this main precomp, and let's quickly hit U to hide all the properties. Now you can see all the different ellipses layer. So what I have done is just go to tools section and just click on the ellipse tool and mark the ellipse tool, and make sure the fill is set to a solid color like this. You can just copy the hex code as mine and just hit OK. Make some random ellipse shapes, something like this, and just change the colors according to your preferences. But this, for this main animation like SaaS, this colors suits the perfect like most. Okay, so just make some random ellipse shapes. You can make some shapes like this, and just make some white shapes, make some brown, make some green, and just drag here and there random shapes, random places. And now what you have to do is holding shift, select all the ellipse layers, make something around 13 to 15 layers, and holding shift, select all the layers, and just right click. I have just select on the pre-compose, and now I've got this main ellipse precomp layer. Okay, so just the random ellipse shapes layers in the main precomp named as ellipse precomp. Okay, and on this ellipse precomp I have applied some effects like fast box blur. So for the blur radius is something around 150. So when you turn off this fast box blur effect, you will get this output, and after when you turn on the fast blur option, you will get this cool gradient effect. Okay, this looks so good. And now in the main ellipse where shapes are there, hit U to see their properties, and under the effects section just I've applied the wiggle effect. So for the wiggle effect I have used the bad effects script, which is free to download from the Google. Just click on this wiggle effect, wiggle property, and holding shift select all the layers and just click on wiggle property, and it will apply the wiggle effect to all the layers automatically. So our shapes will wiggle something like that. Okay, I will give the link in the description down below for the bad effects script. It's free to download, and the super cool extension, you can get the motion effects, you can get the gradient effect, you can get the swatches effects. Basically it's not a promotional video, but this is super cool tool I have got on Google. Okay, so yeah, let's get back to our main ellipse precomp. So on this ellipse precomp I have applied the fast box blur with the blur radius of 150% and the iteration size to 3, and make sure the repeat H pixel is checked. And again on this ellipse precomp I have applied some expression. Let's hit R to see the rotation property, and on this rotation property just expand the layer, and in the expression rotation you can see the expression is applied like time as to 20. Basically it gives a cool rotation type. Let's zoom out a little bit, and you can see the rotation of our main ellipse layers at once. So it gives like cool effect to your background. Okay, now let's hit U to hide the properties. Now let's go with the third layer, which is a scene 1 precomp. So basically our scene 1 starts from here. So let's turn on our scene 1 precomp, and you can see our first scene gets like something around here. Let's hit End to mark the point, and you can see our scene 1 ends here, something like that. So let's quickly double click to open our scene 1 precomp, and you can see all the layers something like that. So don't be confused, I will explain you step step by step for each layer and animation. So let's quickly turn off all the layers first, and just let's turn on our first layer, grab the text type tool, and for the animation just hit U to see its keyframe. I have used the presetify script from the Kuldeep MP4. Shout out to Kuldeep MP4 for the presetify script. It's super cool. I have applied the range selector effect. You can use the characters, you can use the words script. I have used the words script, so it comes something like that. Each word by word animation. You can also animate it manually. Just expand the layer, just go to animate and use the position parameters, opacity, and just the blur parameters, and you can make this same animation something like that. But the script works the most suitable and it takes less time to animate a text in 2026. Okay, so yeah, and for the color just hit U to hide all the keyframes, and for the color just go to properties and you can see the same, you can copy the same hex code like mine. And for the font I am using the Montserrat bold font. It's super cool for the UI animations like SaaS or Zelius or different UI animations, something like that. Okay, now let's turn on our next layer, which is like ask questions. So when the first text comes like that, it goes something like that. So our next layer is ask questions. So let's see our animation. So for this text, just I have changed the same color a little bit lighter green, and you can copy the same hex code like mine 349434, and for the font it is the same Montserrat bold, and for the animation just hit U to see its keyframe. So I have applied the same animation like the before text. You can see the so you can text, I have applied the same, but the text comes after the so you can text. It comes like this. So let's see our animation, and after that it comes like that. Okay, now let's quickly turn on our all the three layers like corporate, take action, and analyze notes. And what you can see is the first controller. Let's turn on our controller layer, and you can see basically it's a null layer. Just go to layer, go to new, and just click on the null object, and it will add a null controller. I have named as the controller 1, and just make sure to parent all the layers holding shift. Select all the layers including the corporate PNG. You can see the corporate PNG, and just parent it to the controller 1 null layer, and then animate it. And I will tell how I animated this null layer using these text animations. Okay, so let's firstly see our animation first. So what you have to do is just parent all the layers to the controller 1, and now you can see the corporate PNG. Hit U to see its keyframe. Basically it's the position and opacity parameters. I have animated the position and opacity keyframes from the left to the right, something like that. And just let's select the keyframes, go to graph editor, and just apply the same graph as mine. Okay, and so it comes like this and goes like this. So what you have to do is just parent all the layers to the controller 1 null layer, and just click on null layer controller 1, hit U to see its keyframe, and around this second, around 1.5 second forward, just animate the position and scale property for the null layer. And when animation starts like this and it goes something like this, so just animate the position and scale parameters. First it's set like here, and after that just drag this null layer to something like this. Okay, then our second text layer ask questions comes with a null animation, something like this. You can see, yeah. And after that some animations like white shapes. Let's turn on our all the layers. So what you have to do is just make a random shape. Just go to rectangle tool. You can use the rounded rectangle tool. I have used the main rectangle tool. Make sure the fill is set to the solid color white and the stroke is set to 1 maybe. And for the text, you can see the text like Monday meetings, and for the font I'm using the Montserrat medium font with the text size to 37.1, and for the PNG I have used the folder PNG. You can see the green PNG layer. Just make sure that it is aligned in the center of the shape, something like at this corner, and the text like Monday meetings, and the white shape is something like this. And now what you have to do is just animate from after these two text and the profile goes upwards, something like this. Your box, your shape animation will come after that. Okay, something like this. So just click on the main. So what you have to do is just click on the folder PNG and the Monday text. Holding shift, select both the layers and just track matte it to the white shape layer, and also parent it to the white shape layer. So it comes something like that. When the shape will move, when the white shape will move, all the layers like Monday text and the folder PNG will move with that. Okay, so what you have to do is animate the shape, not the PNGs. So hit U to see the keyframes or the white shape. I've animated the position and opacity parameters, something like this. So it comes from down and something like upwards. So you can see the animation, and around with that I have animated some random shapes. So what you have to do is just at this frame you can see the star PNG. So what you have to do is just make a perfect round shape, something like that. Just go to rectangle tool again. You can use the rounded rectangle tool. Just make sure the fill is set to the solid color white and make a perfect round shape, something like that. With the shape properties, you can go with the properties like roundness to something around 888, and you can copy the size like 1350 to 135. And on this I have applied some PNGs like star. You can go on flaticon.com, download the free PNGs from that platform, and you can see the first PNG is the star PNG and the second is this message icon. And on this I have also used the ellipse. You can see the ellipse just before after. So just go to the ellipse tool and just make sure this solid color is selected like the same. You can copy the same Xcode like mine and just put it something around at this corner. And on this just you can use the telegram message icon, telegram icon PNG, and just use it something like that here. And also you can add some star PNGs, and on that let's see our animation. And again, just what you have to do is just I have added some text. So the first text comes like that. I have used the typewriter effect. So just go to effects and presets and type like typewriter, and I have applied that CZ typewriter version 1. You can go with the Blinkit typewriter console, which is default in After Effects. If you want the free preset like CZ typewriter, just comment typewriter and I will add it to my drive link. Okay, now the same animation like the previous shape. So just make sure the after adding all the text, something like this, step by step, the same animation is applied to all the text like typewriter effect. So what you have to do is just select all the layers including that star PNG, telegram PNG, and the arrow ellipse, and parent it to the white shape layer. And what you have to do is also just track mat all the layers to the white shape. So when the white shape moves, all the layers with it comes along with that. Okay, so basically it's just like a typewriter animation, something like that. So for the main animation for the white shape, just hit U to see its properties, and on this I have applied the position, scale, and opacity parameters. Basically it comes after the small shape. So when the small shapes comes after that, the big shape comes like that. So it comes at the beginning, the opacity is 0, the scale is 166, and the position is set to 960, 957, and after that comes like this. And the same at that time, the typewriter animation for the text comes like this. Okay, after that just split the text around at this frame and just use another text like what's the most requested feature, and again split the text layer like around 5 seconds and just add the third text, something like this. And now what's the most cool effect I have created, that this you can see the telegram PNG layer, you can see the animation for that. It goes and it comes like that at its previous position. What I have done is just let's hit U to hide the keyframes for that. Now what I have to do, just select the telegram PNG layer, hit U to see its keyframe, and now what I have done is just you can see the whole diagram over here. Let's zoom in a little bit. So what I have done is just make animation using the PNG position parameter. So first our PNG was at this frame, and after 2 seconds or 1 second it comes rotate from here to here and it gets back to its previous position. So that's what our animation. And just select all your keyframes, go to graph editor and make a graph something like this. And what you have to do is just right click, go to keyframe velocity, and just make sure the continuous lock is checked and the speed is set to 100%. Okay, so when your animation will move continuously, and just duplicate the keyframes 2 to 3 times. When the first text comes, your animation like this, and when the second text comes or ends, your second animation ends, and when your third text comes or ends, the PNG revolves like this. Okay, so yeah, that was our animation. And now what about our text? You can see the analyzing nodes. So first ask the text, set it to ask questions, and after that when the second text for this box comes, what did Chris say? Our Q1 OKR should be. The second, the box for this text changes like user interviews. Previously it was Monday meetings and the folder icon, and next it comes like user interviews and the star icon. And for the star icon, just click on the star layer and just go to effect controls, and basically I have applied the tint effect, which is previously it was like blue, and after that just according to the user interface or UI color palette, I have changed some colors for the PNG icons. Okay, so yeah, the second it comes like ask questions, and after that the board text like user interviews and the analyze notes comes like this. The same animation is applied to all the text layers. The previously for the ask questions animation you can see, and again the analyze notes comes again. When the third text type writes, the text changes to take action, and also the box text like says calls. You can see the previously is set to user interviews and the PNG of a star, and next the text changes to sales calls and the coins icon, something around here. Okay. So yeah, that was our animation, something like that. And now, so basically it's just doing things something like that. And now let's get back to our main render comp, which is like scene 1. So you can see the animation. It comes like the final output comes like this. Okay, let's get back to scene 1. And on this, firstly for the effects, on the copied PNG I have applied the drop shadow effect with the color something like that. You can use the same color like this and just copy the settings as mine. And again for some PNGs I have applied some tint effect to make the PNG like from black to the different color and just random colors. Yeah, let's get back to our main render comp. So our animation for the first scene comes like this. Amazing. And also I have applied the drop shadow effect to these both two shape layers, for the white shape, the small shape, and then for the bigger shape I have applied subtle drop shadow effect. You can give the drop shadow effect to separate it from the background. Okay, now let's get to our next scene, which is the scene 2. So what you can see, the second scene, the first scene goes something like this. So what you have to do is just go to the layer, go to new, and just click on the null object again and just add null object and name it as scene 1 controller. Just turn on the null controller. You can see the null layer, and at this frame where our all the animation ends, last text animation ends at this frame, something around 0.65. Hit U to see the null keyframes, and you can see the position and rotation parameters are set to this animation. So firstly it comes like this. So it rotates a little bit at this frame. Let's see the properties, and the rotation is set to 3% or 3 degree, and for the position is set to something like that. Just select your keyframes, and just I've applied the AC keyframe wingman script. You can download it from the Google, and I've applied this 1990 graph to this keyframes, and just our animation will look like this. Okay, yeah. Now let's quickly turn on our all the layers for the scene 2. So our scene 2 starts from here. So at this frame you can see the mouse cursor and the document PNG. You can see it's moving from outside of the frame to this at this frame. So what I have done is just add a random cursor and document, just add the text layer first. So just for the scene 2 I have added some text, like first text is based on your team's conversation and a folder PNG. You can see the folder PNG. On this folder PNG I have applied the tint effect for this color. You can copy the same color like mine, and what I have done is just again add a null layer. Just go to layer, go to new, and just click on the null object and just add a null controller and name it as scene 2 controller, and just parent both the text layers, the first text layer and the folder PNG, the first text, and for the second text I have added like this. Even if you miss the midding, and just select the folder PNG, select your all the text layer and just parent it to your scene 2 controller. And what I've done is just animated the text something like this. So select your scene 2 controller, hit U to see its keyframe. So basically it's a position and rotation parameters set to the animation. So it comes from the right to the center of the composition, something like this. You can see the animation, and for the text animation I have applied again the presetify by Kuldeep M4. You can use the words by word, you can use the character by characters, but I have used the words by words animation. You can also use the random effects from the effects and presets, or you can download my free preset pack from the description down below. So basically it's animating something like this, and after that our before the scene 2 starts, you can see the cursor and the document PNG is moving from out of the frame from left to the right. So what I've done is set the cursor layer and the document layer, and what I've done is just select the document layer and just track mat it to the cursor layer. And what I've done again, just add the null layer and name it as document controller, and just select both these two layers and just parent it to the document controller and hit U to see the document controller layer. And what you have to do is just add the position, scale and rotation parameters at the beginning something around here. Let's zoom out at this frame, and after that it comes like around this frame at the top of the folder png, and again after some time it drops the document into the folder icon, and after that a little pause and it goes outside the frame, something like this. And on this, just go to pen tool and just make sure the convert vertex tool is selected. Drag these handles, click on this path and just drag these handles little bit downwards so it comes slowly from like here and goes like here. Okay, so basically I have applied the same graph using the keyframe wingman. Shout out to keyframe wingman for the cool graph effect. Okay, and now after that, when the document drops something around this frame, our third text comes like this. Again, the same presetify script is used for the text. So when our document png drops in the folder, our next text comes like this, and our mouse cursor gets roll off to out of the composition. And now again for the scene controller 2, again let's parent all the layers to the scene 2 controller, and just all the text comes out of the composition to the left. Okay, and now what you are wondering, where the folder or document rolled off. So just click on the document layer, hit U to see its keyframe, and basically I have applied the position, scale and opacity parameters. So when the document drops, the scale gets back to 0 or 10 and the opacity gets back to 0%, so it disappears like it's dropped in the folder. Okay, so yeah, that was our animation, something like that. Yeah, okay, so finally hit U to hide all the layers, keyframes and the properties, and lastly just turn on the motion blur for all the text including the scene 1 precom. Just exclude the ellipse precom and the background layer. Don't turn off the motion blur option for these 2 layers except all the layers. Okay, and lastly just render it for the smooth playback, and let's set it to fit up to 100%. Let's see our final playback. Awesome. And that's how you can create this clean SaaS promo style motion graphic in Adobe After Effects. I hope this breakdown helped you understand the workflow and animation process more clearly. Grab the free project file and asset from the link in the description below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram for more motion design tips. And if you would like to support my work, you can join my Patreon page. It costs less than a meal and helps me keep creating tutorials like this. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.